my god!
Jim's gonna shut him down. It's a double kill for Jim.
Oh my god, Jim!
Looking pretty good. It's gonna be a triple kill. Jim comes on fire. Jim comes on fire.
Right angle, but couldn't land the shot. The dark scope, the two-piece! Oh my god!
Trató de darle ese respetazo ahí, consigue una pelota y rápido se voltea y se destaca na marotagem. Belo ângulo dele!
He's gonna be able to take out. Oh my god! Oh no! He was down to 1 second on the clock.
Já pegou bala na cara do Master. O Omairinho vai tentando fazer o primeiro. Da estátua vai tentar o tiro porrada e bomba! Vem! Clutch muito difícil de vencer, mas...
Where on the body that you hit, he no-scoped for Apollo right there. He no-scoped.
Queda solamente vivo por parte de repente, consigue la primera baja de este Sam. Se da cuenta que no puede.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We got another week of Mobile Mayhem coming at you guys. Hope you're all having a fantastic week. We've got some more very solid games, and I feel like that's something that I'm going to be saying pretty much every single day of Mobile Mayhem that we're casting. We just got so much good competition in here that I feel like there's never going to be a day where we have all, not necessarily bad matches, but maybe like underwhelming matches. So just to give you guys a quick peek, we're getting started nice and spicy. 11T versus Tribe Gaming. Excited for that one. After that, we got what could potentially be a finals matchup depending on how this season goes. It's Seminal versus Zygnus. For those of you who don't know, Seminal, the 17 and up roster that was allowed into Mobile Mayhem, Zygnus, the champions of the LATAM division. That's going to be a fun one to watch, especially since we didn't get to watch Seminal play last week. Very excited to see what they've got in store. Following that, we do have Primal versus Mayhem and Storm versus Status Quo. Status Quo, definitely one of the teams you can't sleep on. They've got a lot of players from different rosters, including Explicit, Arsenal. A lot of really good players coming together on that roster. That's going to be another fun one to watch. Day of the 4 matches. Which one do you think is going to be the best?
I was actually just pulling up the schedule on my end. I would say Seminal versus Zygnus or 11T versus Tribe will probably be some of the best for realistically like your high-end content. But I feel like there is a pretty good argument that Storm versus Status Quo could end up being a really good match as well. So we'll have to see. Mayhem versus Primal, I would say I gotta lean towards Mayhem on that like 100%, but at the same time, Mayhem had been struggling, and Primal has the most consistent attendance we've seen out of them in years. So
yeah,
we'll
for sure. We will take a look at the maps and bans real quick before we hop into the first matchup. It is going to be 11T versus Tribe, like we mentioned. It's going to be standoff hardpoint, game number 1, raid, search, and destroy, game 2. If we go to a game 3, firing range, domination, bans on the kinetic armor and the annihilator. So probably, if I had to guess, going to see a decent amount of sparrows in play. Obviously, the addition of kinetic armor changing the meta as far as what is typically banned for both of these teams. We do have bans on both Hackney Yard and Takeoff. So fortunately, we don't have to deal with crossfire domination. Always a bonus, but it looks like we've got all of our players loaded in. Should be good to go here. Obviously, both of these teams played last week as well. And as you guys are going to see right here, Team 11 sits at the top, 20 points on the board for them, as they were able to get the 2-0, I believe, against Mayhem. Tribe getting the win, but it was a... it wasn't a DQ. Was it 2-1? How do they only have 5 points? I'm trying to remember.
Trying to pull up the standings right now.
It was Tribe or Zygnus. They get 5 points for...
They get 5 points for winning one map.
Oh, okay. Has it always been that way?
No, it changed, I think,
Okay.
2 seasons ago to that, because before it used to be you just got 10 for winning a 2-1 and the enemy got nothing.
Okay.
And now a match is just worth 20 points, and how it splits up depends on the outcome. So
All right.
it's been a while. It's been a while. So
It has been a hot minute. We're currently just waiting for Marshy to ready up, and as we say that, he is good to go, which means we're good to hop into game number 1. It is going to be 11T versus Tribe. Which way are you leaning in this matchup?
I gotta lean towards Tribe just because of the consistency that they've had, but at the same time, 11T has obviously had some roster changes that have worked out very, very well for them. They took down Mayhem last week, and that's not an easy competitor to go up against. So I would lean Tribe, but if Tribe sleep on 11T, 11T might just be able to sneak it away from him.
We do see first blood right there, but a whole lot of trays going in. I believe it is going to be 11T coming out on top, at least in regards to the kills. However, it is going to be Tribe on the inside of the hard point. Marshy holding things down, at least for now. 2 kills on the board for him. Immediately going to get taken out. Bolu, Parrish, Band, all making those pushes on in, and that's going to be a triple for Parrish. Big start for Tribe Gaming. Each of the players on 11D only able to muster about 1 kill apiece for right now. They've definitely got some work to do as the map control, the slaying power looking to go the way of Tribe. A little bit of a slow start for Bolu and for Envy, but obviously the rest of the players making up for what is being missed, and Band popping off early. 5 kills on the board already.
Yeah, Yuji just barely makes it away from Envy there, who's looking to find his first kill. Can't quite win the gunfight with Pelon there. Holger a little bit better at that range than the MX-9, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. Tribe right now sitting up about 30 points, so they're still in a good spot, but Envy doesn't check his corners, rotates over in front of Yuji, and now Yuji trying to make his push on in to try to make the break on this point. Does look like 11D have made it on some really good rotations there, but Marshy, nutty with the shorty, pops the corner, picks one up, and now it's a big fight over this objective.
Oh, and a massive feed for Parrish right there. He's going to find 2. A lot of players around the corner, tries to find 4. It's only going to be 3, but his teammate Bolu playing the OBJ. A little bit of scrap time going in right here for 11D. And still 24 seconds to be picked up. So it's not like they need to make that early rotation. Go ahead and give up this time. They can very well get to a point where it's nearly tied up. But you do have to keep in mind all the Tribe players already pushed out. It's going to be Palan staying there by himself. And all the pressure onto his teammates to win some big gunfights. The big shots going in early for Bolu. 5 kills now on the board. And 11, really just trying to play catch up right now. We see Yuji on the hop up, but he gets spotted by Bolu as well. And despite 11T's ability to close that gap, it's going to be a really tough break to find, especially with the map control that we see in there for Tribe Gaming.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that point, and this has actually been a really solid game between these two teams. Yuji was looking to make the slide up top, but gets picked off by Ben, who's playing the head glitch on the van at the hay bales really, really well, and 11T have been able to make the break. Now, one thing we do have to consider is even though this team has stepped up as a respawn team, they are certainly still a search and destroy strength, so the fact that they're going toe-to-toe with a team like Tribe right now in Respawn is incredibly solid for them. Definitely has a lot of really high hopes for me going on throughout this season. I believe they finished in second place for LATAM last season, so really big step ups. This is looking like honestly about as good as the Tribe versus Zygnus matches were on Thursday last week.
Yeah, and that was a massive break for 11, not only getting the break, but actually coming away with more time on that hill than Tribe did, especially with the setup that they had. Was looking like it was going to be a really strong hard point for Tribe, but we see some of those Sparrows coming out. I believe a sentry gun in play for Wiru as well. He's actually not even put it down yet, so he's still got that to work with. A lot of that operator usage going in for Tribe, and they really desperately need a break. We see one going in for Raven as well. Pre-fire around the corner. Holger. There's a sentry gun there as well. And 1 kill finally goes in for Jason. He's still got a couple bullets to spare. He's got 13 kills on the board and a Tempest to work with, which we haven't seen a whole lot out of, but perfectly playing this corner. Gonna find 1, not able to find 2. A little bit off center with that shorty shot. Bolu looking to apply pressure, but once again, it is 11. Stacking on the points right now, and even when Tribe's been early on the rotations, 11 able to win enough gunfights to be able to close that gap. And you can see some of those gun kills starting to number. Marshy struggling a little bit, -5 right now, but overall, Tribe not doing a terrible job. Envy at -7. 17 deaths, not where you want to be. And right now, things looking good for 11T, who has managed to make some pretty solid comebacks despite some late rotations.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They have been playing this solid. I definitely did not expect this game to be as close as it is, let alone 11T be in the lead for hardpoint on standoff of all maps. In my opinion, this has been one of Tribe's strongest respawn maps. So this is a great performance coming out of 11T right now. I've definitely been a big fan of a lot of these players as well for quite a while, the likes of Wiru, Zai, Yuji. So glad to see them having a really good start to the season, because it's just making NA look even better at this point as far as games to watch. I mean, last season is pretty disappointing. You come into this season, I mean, our first day started out with some great matches, and now here we are, day 2, and the fun continues.
Yep, and right now Jason just looking to hold this market area for long enough to be able to allow his team to get those 21 points that they need. Still a long way to go for Tribe, and the pre-fire is there, but Parrish somehow slides the corner, able to win the gunfight. That's going to be a crucial one, but they still need to get the break. Yuji up in the top, but he's going to get beamed out by the Sparrow in the hands of Parrish right there. Unoccupied hardpoint for the time being, but Tribe needs to find a way in. Marshy's looking to make a push. It's not going to happen. Ban shut down as well. Sparrow is gone. Time is dwindling. They don't have a whole lot to work with right now. Seconds ticking by. Envy gets the kill onto Jason, but it's not going to be enough. And wow, what a strong start for 11T, who coming into this, I'm not going to say they were an underdog for this season or for this matchup, but Tribe Gaming, usually a really, really strong respawn team, and things just not going their way, really following P1. Even when they got the early rotations, it seemed like 11T was able to find the advantage at every turn, win the majority of the gunfights, and a big game one for them.
Yeah, and it definitely feels pretty bad for Tribe because we have, mentioned before that historically, Search is their weakest game mode and it's 11T's strongest mode. So the fact that they dropped the hardpoint here could possibly be looking at Tribe not picking up any points today and remaining at that 5 points after their loss to Zygnus. So that would be really wild considering Tribe is one of those teams that can consistently finish in the top spot of Mobile Mayhem, or I think last season they finished in second. But I mean, what a fantastic game for 11T. They have massively stepped up their respawn games, and every time I look at them now, they're looking like a bigger and bigger threat to some of these teams that we expect to have a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, and we saw last week they were actually able to take an S&D off of Mayhem. So a lot of that came at the hands of Mayhem with some crucial mistakes, but at the same time, you got to give 11D credit for being able to capitalize on, though. And like we mentioned before, S&D was the reason that Tribe didn't get any further than 6 when it came to stage 4, because they were able to win the majority of the respawns, but ended up DQing on one, and just time and time again, the S&D seem to be their kryptonite. We'll see if they've gotten enough reps in to maybe improve a little bit here as we do get ready to hop into the raid search and destroy. But another thing to notice, Cheld's typically the X factor for them when it comes to search and destroy. He was the player that allowed them to keep things close, especially on the bigger maps like your firing ranges, your crossfires, your raids. Sniper's just such a crucial role, and we don't see him in here right here. We did see Bolu making some big plays with the sniper last week, so that's going to be one player to keep an eye out for, potentially banned as well. But they're going to need somebody to step up right here if they're going to have a shot at winning the S&D and pushing things to a game 3.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and this is just, again, the start of our day. We have so many other good matchups ahead of us. I mean, our next match is Seminal versus Zygnus. I'm disappointed we didn't get to see Seminal versus ARP last week, but this is another one of those really, really good teams to match Seminal up against, because for the longest time, people have been looking at Seminal and saying the only reason they're not at the #1 spot of Mobile Mayhem was the age restriction. Well, that's obviously changed a little bit with history, and again, ARP just came off of their Stage 4 win not too long ago, so that was like, man, this is like the ideal opportunity to see where they stand. But Zygnus also coming through from LATAM will be a fantastic matchup for them as well. So I'm glad that Tribe and 11T are here already building the hype up, because in no way, shape, or form did I think 11T was going to come through with the respawn win over Tribe so easily. But we'll have to see if Tribe can answer back and search. Again, historically their weakest game mode, and 11T's strongest.
Yep, they're going to need something big right here. Taking a look at the players banned, MX9 out, Bolu, Nate out, potentially indicating, and we do see the Locust pop out right there. So it looks like Bolu is going to be looking to fill that sniper role once again. Definitely their biggest need, especially in the absence of Cheld's. Not going to be able to spot anybody. Over on the left side of Statue, trades to go in for both teams. Raven and Marshy both going to drop right there. And right now, Tribe with a pretty strong push over toward that B site. One player up top, Abandoned Envy, going to find 2 more. And now the pressure on Jason and Palan to try to defend right here. Banned right around the corner of Zigzag, but not going to get spotted yet. And look at the minimap, 2 players really close to each other. Palan's so close to ban, but not able to find him right there. Now the pressure onto Jason. He's got the sniper in hand, hoping somebody rounds the corner, but unfortunately for him, it's going to be a hit marker. Envy there to clean things up, and it's going to be Tribe taking round 1.
And I've been definitely breaking down a lot more search and destroy plays lately, and this is a key one that I think a lot of teams could actually take note of the play Tribe just made, is when you have that several player advantage, you're able to push and play the aggressor, because a 1-for-1 trade for you in a 2v1, a 3v1, whatever it may be, secures the round. And quite often it seems like we see players, funnel in one at a time, and that's where those big clutches happen. Probably most famously the Little B clutch against Tribe in Stage 4. So definitely a thing that I think a lot of North American teams can work on. And definitely looks like Tribe has put quite a bit of effort into practicing their search, because this is not the Tribe we're used to seeing in Search and Destroy whatsoever. They're playing coordinated. If you look at the angles that they're covering, they're playing really, really smart. And Bolu going to come through and pick up the kill on the pylon there.
And I'm curious to see how 11T adapts right here, because it's been pretty much a full-on B-send for the most part for Tribe, and 11T hasn't really figured out a way around it. Obviously, Band and Envy combining for 7 kills so far, and right now only 1 kill on the board through the first 2 rounds for 11T, with Raven finding that 1. You can see 2 players still set up over on the side. We're one player that we talk about always being an S&D threat. Gonna go ahead and back up here, trying to play his life as much as possible, and with Jason finding first blood onto Band, that's going to be a crucial opener for 11T, who has had a real tough start here in the S&D.
Yeah, that opening pick is really solid, but it's Bolu coming through with a shot and return onto Yuji. And we did talk a little bit about Bolu last week. You know, he tried being the primary sniper for the team before. It didn't necessarily work out the best for them then. He often switched back to the SMG class, but dude was absolutely cracked on Thursday, and definitely expecting to see more out of him here this week as well. Again, some really, really solid competition in our matchups for the upcoming days. And there's a lot of really good sniping talent that Bolu's going to have to compete with if he's looking for one of those sniper of the split spots.
And Parrish comes up with a 1v2 right there. They get the information on the crosspass statue. One player set up in the top of Top Laundry with a Holger and still not able to win a gunfight. And wow, what a clutch up right there for Tribe Gaming to give them a really solid lead right here. I am curious to see how the switch of sides plays for both of these teams. Looks like Bolu may have disconnected off the start, but reconnecting right there. And Tribe looking to take a 4th straight S&D round off the start of this, playing this a little bit more passively, likely because of Bolu disconnecting right there. That's going to allow Yuji to push up a little bit over on the B site. He's got one player there, Wiru, trying to help and going to be able to get information, but obviously Tribe playing for picks right now. Bolu got that sniper in hand, trying to find somebody, but the smokes, the nades going out, not finding anybody right now, and time's starting to dwindle a little bit. Minute 10 to work with, and right now if you're Tribe, you just need some information. They find Wiru right there. Not sure how he didn't see Marshy, but that's going to be a big opening pick once again for Tribe.
Yeah, Tribe looking like a totally different team here. They struggled a bit against 11D in the respawn, and they came into this search and destroy absolutely on fire out of the gate, picking up Wiru early on. And if you look at the scoreboard, they've got Wiru trapped down at 1-4 right now. That is not the performance we're used to seeing out of Wiru in search, as well as Yuji sitting down at 0-4. So definitely not what I expected out of this matchup, but it's starting to look like we might be getting ready to see a game 3. Zai comes through with a big flick, gonna pick up Marshy there. It's going to bring things to a 3 versus 3, making things a little bit more doable for the side of 11T, but Bolu drops down on Pallon, picks up 1. Raven's there with the refrag once again.
Yeah.
Now it's Raven in a 1v2.
Zai gets a little bit over aggressive right there. Full body peeks Bolu, and that's not a mistake that you want to make. Raven now in a 1v2. We've seen Tribe clutching this before, but man, just no opportunity for 11 to make their way in right now, and a 4-0 lead for Tribe. Like you mentioned, struggles that we don't typically see out of Wiru in the search and destroy. 1-4 for Pallon. Yuji at 0-4, one of the longtime veterans in Call of Duty Mobile Competitive, especially here in Mobile Mayhem. And right now, Bolu just owning the map at 6-1. Parrish is yet to die. It just seems like right now, no type of advantage for 11D as Bolu finds that opening pick once again. Yuji drops. It's going to be another 0-kill round going in for him, and Wiru finally going to win a gunfight. Raven finds one as well. That's exactly what 11D needs, but they need to maintain that momentum. They cannot stop right here. They got to make sure to hold these sides. Unfortunately for Tribe, Parrish is actually going to disconnect from the game. So they're going to be stuck in a 4v5 for the rest of the time that we're playing. Bolu sees somebody, but Raven pushes up, finds the kill. Now it's all on to Marshy, and that lead that Tribe's built not looking quite as confident right here with one of their players completely disconnecting from the game.
Yeah, especially one of the players that was hadn't died yet. I mean, he was obviously there, right? Like, we saw him clutch up the 1v2, so it's a little weird to see him drop that hastily, because normally if a player drops out for connection, it's a round or two, you know, it's a whole round or two they're AFK, so definitely a little weird that he's gone that quick. I'm not sure what happened, but definitely going to leave Tribe in a weird spot. Now they're sitting in a 4v5 off the start. I mean, you're essentially that's basically a free pick to 11T every single round for the rest of the game, so makes it a little bit more difficult, especially when they're on defense and their play is already split up between two sites. You can see Marshy is pushing hard through the back. He's going to rotate over into Palon there. Doesn't look like either of them are going to land any bullets, but it definitely gives some information to each of these teams. Yuji going to pick up one onto Band, climbing up top of Rings, now getting shot by Marshy. Marshy picks up the kill with the Holger long range, but Raven is there to rotate over, and now it's just Bolu.
Yeah, he's trying to clutch up. He finds one, but a 1v4 in this situation, not going to be easy. Raven right around the corner, just not a winnable gunfight for him. 8 kills off the start, but right now, Tribe probably panicking a little bit. Definitely the worst time possible for one of your players to disconnect from the game. It looked like they had the search and destroy win in the bag, and now a guaranteed first blood pretty much every round for 11T right here. And you see Bolu still doing everything that he can to make up for the lost player. He's not going to be able to win the gunfight onto Wiru. That would have been a crucial one, but he's able to get the trade, and it's still somehow Tribe coming away with a man advantage. Now the pressure on for Raven right here. Teammates were not able to capitalize on the starting man advantage right here, making his way in through bank room. Marshy over on the bomb site, trying to find an angle, trying to get some information. Nobody going to peek out quite yet, and it looks like Band might be out to make the play right here, but he's not going to be able to spot the initial. Marshy over top, the head glitch, but he can't win the gunfight. It's a 1v1. Band's going to be able to clean it up, and another huge play going in for Tribe Gaming as they now find themselves at game point on the brink of pushing things to game 3. They got to continue to make those big plays as long as they're going to be able to get the win in a 4v5.
Yeah, a rough position for them to be in, but obviously they can come through together with the win at a disadvantage. They've been able to do it there. And if we look at the map right now, it is a whole different game plan for the side of 11T. It's a hard push up A, and there's only one member of Tribe looking that way, and it's going to be Envy through the money window there. He's taking a couple shots. It is Wiru on the chase. Wiru has to be really careful here not to rotate right over into the sights of Bolu, but does look like he's going to get the chase kill onto Envy, and now it's a 5 versus 3. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking right now this bomb should have been planted already, and now it's Band and Bolu answering back, bringing it to a 3 versus 3.
Wow, a massive double kill going in for Tribe. Usually, like you mentioned, with bomb in hand, he's just playing Cubby right now. They seem very content to play things passive. Somehow, Marshy's able to find Jason right there, and now all the pressure's onto Yuji. They were in a 3v5, 4 players drop in a row. He's all by himself. Marshy hitting absolute beams right here on the inside of Cabana. And even at a man disadvantage at the start of every round for the last, 3 rounds right there. Tribe Gaming still able to win 2 out of the 3 rounds. And they close out the win to 6-2.
Yeah, definitely a exciting matchup between those two teams. It's looking like it's going to go into a game 3. And again, not sure what happened to Parrish, but Tribe somehow look amazing in Search and Destroy here today. I might be swallowing my words here after all those times I mentioned that their weakest game mode was Search, because again, 11T historically best game mode is Search and Destroy. So even with the man disadvantage, they're able to come through with a solid win there, largely on the back of Bolu and Marshy pulling together 10 kills apiece, and again, they just honestly made life very, very difficult for the likes of Yuji and Wiru, who are normally the search and destroy stars here for the side of 11T, but this time it was Raven coming through with 10 kills, and Jason, Palan, and Yuji all struggling to get on the board with 2 and 1 kills respectively. So huge, huge game for Tribe. Somehow pull a miracle together there, and does look like we have Parrish back for our third match here, which is going to be a domination on firing range.
Yeah.
And I believe Tribe have the seaside start. So
not a struggle that we typically see, like you mentioned, out of 11T. 3 players with 2 kills or less in an 8-round search and destroy. Meanwhile, Bolu and Marshy carrying big time. 20 kills combined for the 2. Raven doing everything that he can for 11T, but just not quite enough. Like you said, very surprising performance out of Tribe. Search and destroy, the game mode they've struggled with the most, but obviously, as you're getting ready to perform in a $2 million tournament, you want to be as strong as you possibly can in every single one of the game modes, and it looks like the work in the search and destroy paying off for them, is hopefully putting their struggles behind them. Like you mentioned, domination firing range coming up next. 11T did look the strongest in the respawns, but at this point, I would say just about anything is possible between these two teams. Not really sure what to expect. Excited to hop into game 3 here.
yeah, definitely looking to get into this game 3 because again, if you asked me at the beginning of this matchup how I thought it was going to be, probably would have said Tribe may be able to take it 2-0, but likely game 3 off the back of Tribe winning the hardpoint and 11T winning the search and destroy, and obviously that didn't happen. We are going to game 3, but in the exact reverse of what I think pretty much anybody would have assumed. And I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. You know me. I'm always cheering for game 3s, especially when you have competition of this caliber. And yeah, I'm super excited for this season of Mobile Mayhem. The first 2 days were more exciting than like the whole last season. So pretty here for it.
Yep, definitely. I'm just excited for this season of Mobile Mayhem in general. Waiting for our players to ready up. Keep in mind, we do have bans on Kinetic Armor and the Annihilator, so those Sparrows probably going to play a pretty big role, especially on a map like Firing Range Domination. That mid and those chokehold areas going to be so crucial, especially the way that these two teams manage their operators and their score streaks. Probably going to be one of the biggest determining factors of who's going to get the win right here. So we are hopping into things. Like you mentioned, Tribe starting on C off the start, and it's going to be 11T over on the A side. Typically, it's going to be the battle for the trailer right here, and it's going to be 11T making that initial entry. Wiru and Yuji able to get way up right there, and that's going to be 4 huge kills for 11T off the start. They might be able to get C right here. It's Bolu saving things for them, very narrowly avoiding a disastrous start, but still it's going to be 11T with B control, and that is exactly what they wanted as they get very aggressive here, and a whole lot of kills going on in for 11T.
Yeah, 11T looking fantastic right now. As you mentioned, they were really pushing for that C flip, and it still might be in the cards. Parrish able to pick up one, now making his way over. Envy cleaning up the other. And they will stop the C flip, but the B went so fast into 11T's favor that it's kind of hard to say if it's going to matter or not. You know, there's a slight advantage to having C on this map, but it's nothing like, you know, an advantage of having C side on Crossfire or A side on Hackney Yard. And I don't know, man. 11T are just looking so good here today. Already looking at the scoreboard here, we've got 8 kills for Raven. He's doubled up on anybody else in the lobby.
Yep, massive start right there. Tribe trying to find some map control. They're looking to push on into trailer right here, but When you got a 100-round Holger and you can non-stop pre-fire through that doorway, you got a head glitch to work with. That's going to be some easy kills for him. Going to get hit by the concussion. And right now, there's a whole lot of concussions in play. Concussions and smoke. Going to be pretty much the only thing you're seeing. And now Tribe looking to make the flip over toward A. Not what we expect to see right here, but that should open up an opportunity for 11T to make the flip over onto C. Right now, nobody looking to make the push. We got Envy on the bottom side of 10 right now, trying to find something and maybe get some map control. They're not going to be able to get B right there, and immediately it is going to be 11T flipping back that A control.
Yeah, 11T have themselves about a 20-point lead right now, and they maintain the double cap, which is giving them a pretty sizable advantage going into the second half of this game, because again, they're going to be on the side that they've been fighting for. That C side is by far the favorite for teams, and it does look like the flip's going to come through. It's even going to be a couple, no, not quite a tick of triple cap, but again, started on the weak side. They've got about a 32-point advantage going into the second half, and that's a great position for them to be in. Again, they are winning against Tribe, who is, you know, theoretically the stronger respawn team.
Yeah, this is definitely not what we expected to see, and obviously dynamics change from season to season. It's been 2 seasons since we've seen 11T in play, and it looks like they have improved in that respawn aspect. They've started to build on some of the score streaks. You can see Raven already on 18. He's got a Pred missile and a Sparrow to work with. Concussions going through the battle for trailer going on right here, and Bolu wins 2 crucial gunfights on the inside right here, trying to find another on the outside. Slides out, maybe a little too aggressive. There's 2 players for 11D waiting for him right there. No progress on B for either team. We're gonna finally hop on in. Only 7 kills to his name, but some huge progress going in right there.
Yeah, a lot of B progress going for the side of 11T right now, who might be looking to put themselves in a really good spot in the standings, because they obviously came through with that 2-0 victory over Mayhem last week. So picking up a 2-1 even at this point over Tribe would put them up at 35 points and leave Tribe trailing at only 10. So definitely a lot on the line for both of these teams, especially Tribe. You got to imagine they really want to step up here and not let Zygnus and 11T be the top of the NA Mobile Mayhem. So we'll see.
Yeah, right now we're watching Raven having one of those, it seems like once a season type of games. 22-6 right now, playing absolutely out of his mind, and it is finally going to be Tribe flipping for A right here, but still got 11T holding control over on C. It's finally going to be Parrish with the Sparrow in hand, able to get the shutdown over on C, and now a little bit of progress going in on that C flag. Jason there able to immediately get the trade. Some more operators coming on in, and now it's 11D with the counter push looking to get onto that B flag. I believe Marshy with a Sparrow in hand making that huge play right there. Neither team able to get control onto B so far, and somehow Marshy throws the trophy and still able to get the Sparrow out. He finds another kill right there. That could potentially be a game changer, but with the amount of score streaks operators that 11D's been able to stack so far, it's just going to be so tough, especially with those concussion nades constantly slowing them down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and this is starting to look pretty grim for Tribe. The longer this B flag is uncapped, the better it is for the side of 11T. Obviously, if they're able to get a cap, that would be the best position for them to be in, but we're not quite in triple cap territory yet. I think we're very, very close. But
I think we actually just passed into triple cap territory right around the 110 mark, if I'm not mistaken.
70, yeah, we're in just a couple seconds in it right now. So yeah, as long as they maintain a C flag at this point, it doesn't really matter.
And Raven slowing down a little bit. He's now at 24-10, which is not by any means a bad game, but not on quite the same pace he was before. Tribe finally able to get the double cap right there, but like we mentioned, too little too late unless they're able to get the triple cap right here. But as we say that, they hop on to C right here, triple cap in play, and now there is a realm of possibility where Tribe Gaming actually makes a comeback right here. They're almost to the point where they don't even need a triple cap anymore. They only need the double. Envy making big plays once again. 19 kills on the board. We're right around the corner. Some big progress going in. But right now, Tribe only has to hold the double. They have done everything that they needed to. They held the triple cap for long enough. They got to stop the C cap right here. Envy pushing on through, spraying through. I think he was able to get it in time. They get C back, but right now, Tribe Gaming still holding the double cap, and they may actually have a shot at making this comeback.
Yeah, right now it's looking like it, and, you know, again, you can never sleep on Tribe. You know, we talked about them getting into triple cap territory there for a second, and what do? Boom, triple cap. And it's looking pretty rough for 11D at this point. Parrish burns his whole Sparrow for that defense on A, but able to save it. The triple cap maintaining for the side of Tribe. Right now it's about to be a tie game.
And right now, Bolu's on the inside of Goliath. I mean, if you're 11T, you have very few options. You got to hope somebody pulls out a god tier score streak or an operator or something right here. The triple cap maintaining all the way through. Jason finally able to pull out the operator. Ends the Goliath streak right there for Bolu, but they've got to get a triple cap immediately. It looked like they only need to hold a double, and just like that, Tribe Gaming flips the game on its head. There's only 15 seconds remaining. Even if 11T were able to get the triple cap, there's not enough time. 149. Tribe Gaming makes the comeback right there. What a game out of them. They get the win over 11D 2-1.
What a fantastic game for Tribe and 11T, and not only that, what a great way to start off the stream here. As I was mentioning to you before the stream, I have had a long day. I was very tired. I had to go get a energy drink just to make it through, and now I'm kind of regretting it because that woke me up without even having to drink a coffee or something. So we're pretty excited here. Tribe somehow pulled together the clutch victory there, and we'll take their 15 points for the day. It is still going to be in 5-point gain for the side of 11T, so I think based on that, 11T still have a lead over their competitors, which is pretty solid. Looking at the scoreboard, I think you mentioned it, Raven was doing so much in the first half and then kind of fell off there at the end, and the rest of the team unfortunately was unable to help get an A or a C capture in time, and Tribe held the triple cap well beyond long enough to get themselves the win. Ended up locking down 11T at 132 when they were, I mean, basically we were saying they were in triple cap territory, and it didn't look like Tribe had anything going for them. And then all of a sudden, all the gunfights started going their way. The pieces fell together, as you mentioned. Bolu getting that Goliath was huge, and Tribe pulled a victory together.
Yeah, obviously we think of where he typically is an S&D specialist, but you got to bring more to the table. He goes 10 and 30 right there. Just way too far negative. We saw Band over on Tribe having a rough game as well, but at least if you look at his stats, he's able to get those 10 flag caps. So even though he wasn't necessarily able to contribute quite as much in the slaying department, he made up for it in what he did in the actual objective plays. And wow, just what a comeback for Tribe Gaming. Seemed like the game was lost. What was it, like? I think it was like 120 to 70 something. And they hold the triple cap for so long right there. Just a phenomenal comeback out of them.
I think it was 125 to 73 was the last I had looked at it when we were calculating the triple cap, because I was like, well, 25 and 50 to go. Yeah, that's pretty deep in triple cap now. And next thing you know, Tribe's got 3 flags on the board.
Yep. Definitely looks like 11D's got some work to do in regards to maintaining that map control. Obviously, Raven's performance in the first half played a really big role in their ability to maintain that, but you need to get that consistency across the board. Congrats to Tribe. Pulling out a big win right there. I don't know if our standings are going to be updated yet. It looks like they are. So Tribe now moving up into 3rd place, and a very good chance these standings get shaken up a good bit, as obviously Tribe and 11T have already played. Both of those 2 in the top 3 right now, but we got Seminal and Zygnus Coming up right here, two absolute powerhouses, Zygnus, your champions of the Latin America division. Over for Seminal, you have kind of the underage legends of North America. A lot of the players that you've seen throughout the history of Mobile Mayhem that haven't been able to play throughout the last couple seasons just because they are not of age, but each of these players, I believe, turning 18 before the start of 2022. So hopefully these will be players that we get to see in next year's COD Mobile Champs, looking to prove themselves as they get ready to go up against the champions of Latin America.
Yeah, definitely should be a pretty exciting match between these two teams. I mean, again, I was super hyped looking forward to that ARP Seminole matchup just because, again, everybody has said, hey, Seminole, these guys are good enough that they could be #1 in North America, and obviously ARP came through, and as far as competition goes, most recently are our #1 for North America, so that would have been ideal, but, you know, I've always told you I'm a huge fan, and I will never get tired of seeing the Zygnus versus Tribe matchups. So Zygnus versus Seminole should be a really, really solid one as well. I'm pretty happy about it. I'm glad this season is developing to be as good as it is. And there's a cartography screen missing. Wait, what are you talking about, B? I'm confusion. Oh, okay, I see. I see now.
All right. Well, oh yeah. I'll try to get that figured out. Anyways, oh, I figured it out very quickly. There we go. Anyways, we are taking a look at our maps and bans right here as we do get ready to hop in the game number 2. It is going to look somewhat similar to the first matchup. Standoff hardpoint for game number 1. Following that, it's going to be firing range, search, and destroy. And if we go to a game 3, takeoff domination. Seminole banning raid, not one that we typically see a whole lot, but obviously there's probably some type of a pattern to that decision. We do see Zygnus banning crossfire, not too surprised to see that. Sparrow and Annihilator banned. Probably a whole lot of kinetic armor going into this matchup. Day, I know you've been paying more attention to the North American scene over the past couple months than I have been. Who's your favorite in this matchup?
I would say probably Zygnus, just in the sense that Seminole have a tendency to troll some games and not take it seriously, and I don't expect them to like underestimate Zygnus per se, but I definitely have concerns that maybe some of the games they didn't take seriously could have cost them some practice along the line. And Zygnus, obviously one of those teams that's on and grinding all the time, working on their teamwork and the like of all that. So I think in the long run, I've got Zygnus. I definitely think there'll be close matches, but I guess we'll see.
All right. Well, we've got players loaded in for both. I have not seen the Seminole team play actually competitively together yet, so I'm curious. We have TSM Hi in here. Jez, Raballo. If I had to guess, Vague probably going to be in here since he just rated us, I believe, over on YouTube. For the last one, I believe they have both Forsaken and Slothy on the roster, so it could really be either of those two, or I think they even have a 7th, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yep, just waiting on a couple players to get in, guys, and we'll get to that as soon as we can for you. Obviously, this is basically the Zygnus that you guys will know and love from last season, with the addition of Cheto is playing again underneath the name Diatanea, and definitely adapted to phone pretty well. That was the reason that we had saw him fall off of this team for a bit. He was not playing on phone at the time, but he's making that transition and doing quite well at it.
Yep, we see Slothy hopping in for the Seminole roster right here, so just waiting on one more. I would assume that that is going to be Vague. And I've heard a lot of people say over the past couple months that they think that Vague is the #1 player in North America. Day, based on what you've seen in the different tournaments that you've commentating, what are your thoughts on that?
I would say that's probably a bit of a stretch. It's kind of hard to nail down a #1 best player for a multiplayer game, right? because there's a lot of different factors. You're going to have your slayers, you're going to have your objective captures, you're going to have your spawn anchors. So there's really so many different factors that go in. Like it'd be like comparing Nero to Bolu, right? Like Bolu is a big slayer for Tribe, and Nero is a big objective player for Mayhem. It's just balanced a little bit differently. I would put Vague in probably at least the top 5 of slayers based on recent performance when he brings his A game. But it also does kind of fall into a little bit of a consistency thing. Some days we'll see him put up 30 kills on the board. Next time he's 14 and 21. So I would say I've seen way less of those like 14 and 21 games and way more of the triple positive games. But you know, there's also other players who are putting up very similar numbers consistently. The likes of, again, Bolu, your Tectonics, your Pepe recently from ARP has been rocking it as well. So we'll see.
All right. Excited to watch this matchup. Just waiting for a couple players to ready up. Should be good to go pretty soon. Obviously, Tatio with a big start to the season for Zygnus last week. Came out guns blazing for sure. And obviously, Kimwack's been around with them as well for a while. And I would say had a pretty solid performance too. I think you had mentioned, and this is something that we've seen out of a lot of the underage teams previously, is they just have a tendency whenever they get out to a lead to maybe troll sometimes. I would definitely love to see them play at their A game for the majority of the time. Well, obviously, ideally for the entire time, but I've definitely got a feeling that with their first season back in Mobile Mayhem, Seminal looking to bring the A game here in their first matchup of the season.
Yeah, one would definitely think and hope. We are just waiting on a couple players to get ready up, guys, and we'll get you into the action as soon as we can. We know you guys have been waiting to see Seminal play in Mobile Mayhem for a long time now. Trust me, Bobby and I have as well, and you're going to get the opportunity here. And like I was mentioning earlier, they do have a bit of a tendency to troll in some of their matchups, but I don't think the matchup with Zygnus is going to be one that they do.
Yeah,
So.
you would definitely think going up against the champions of Latin America that they'd probably be looking to play all out the whole way through, but we got our players loaded in, ready to go right here. A whole lot of MX-9s expected to be in play. Everybody's connected and ready to hop in, as we do see it is going to be Seminal over on blue side right here, and Zygnus spawning over by Barn, looking to make that push on in. Jez going to be able to get the explosion kill onto Tatio, and Hi, I believe, dying to his own explosion right there. So Vague finds Envoy, and Vague on the inside of the hard point already finds 2, not going to be able to find 3. The shorty push on in going to be enough for this Zygnus team to find 1. Envoy finds 2, and currently completely unoccupied hard point.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how these two teams make their rotations. You can obviously tell that this P1 is very hard for teams to make a break on. There's just so many different angles that a defense can cover, but at the same time, there's also so many different angles that a offense can make the rotation in. But it does look like it is mostly at the beginning going to be a Zygnus control, but it's only a matter of time to Seminal able to make the break in. Gonna pretty much tie things up off this point, and now as we're looking at the P2, you can see Zygnus are really looking for that gas station respawn point, but we do have a couple members of Seminal here as well.
Yep, big start for Kimwax. 5 kills on the board. Pops kinetic, not going to be enough to save him right there. It is going to be Seminal. I heard you almost say TSM. It is a little bit confusing when 2 of the players have TSM in their username, but you know what? We'll get adjusted, and we will make our way through. Zygnus already over on P2. Hi slides on in, playing those trades very well. He's only got 2 kills on the board, but regardless, still got that kinetic popped, and it is going to be Seminal up in the hard point right now, contested for the time being. Kimwax in the top side, gonna get beamed out by Hi as well, and right now trying to make the push from all angles, but not winning a whole lot of those gunfights. Right now, it is all Seminal in the feed.
Seminal off to a great start in this matchup. And again, this is what we expect. I mean, there's a reason that people say that Seminole is good enough to compete with the best of the best in North America, and obviously at this point as well as LATAM. Just coming through with a big frag there onto Slothy, anchoring down that back spawn, but does look like Vega going to make the rotation in through behind, picks that one up, and it wasn't quite enough for him to anchor spawns for his team as they respawned, and that's actually going to give a big advantage to Zygnus for this point.
Yep, big gunfight going in for Tatio right there, taking out Jez. Vega able to get the trade right there, drops Tatio. Zygnus with a couple going in as well in the early rotation. Looked like it was paying off, but somehow Seminole able to still find the break, and now the points starting to stack. Vague finds a double kill. Looked like it might have actually been a triple. He's got 10 kills on the board already. Zygnus scrambling to play catch up right here. Envoy just trying to beam people out. They're looking to make the entry, just not going to be able to win on the inside right there. And now Zygnus looking to make that rotation, try to play for P4 right here. Kimwax might look to push out right here, throws the nade over top. Right now you can see over in that mini map for the most part is Zygnus set up on this side of the map. They've got control on both sides. That's going to be a big one there as well. Double kill goes in right now. Seminole still spawning over on the opposite side of the map. Player 5 looking to make the big plays right here. Just finds one. He needs two. Shorty comes out. It's going to happen. And that's going to be a crucial game changer to hold down control on this side of the map. Maintain those spawns. He's going to get taken out. And just as it looks like Zygnus is finding something, a massive feed still manages to go in for Seminole, and they get control of that hard point.
Yeah, this might be a good opportunity to jump into the comms with Zygnus and see how they're handling the pressure, because clearly right now it is Seminole coming through with a fiery passion trying to get the retake here on this P4.
All right, let's hop in with Zygnus Esports.
Tanque, 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 tanque.
Aguanten ahí, y roten al que sigue, roten al que sigue.
Roten, roten.
No, patio, patio, patio.
Patio, 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 patio.
Toca roto. No, bro. Muerto otro. Buena.
Parecen blue ya.
Dos Deli, van por Deli, van por Deli, van por Deli.
Abajo, cuadrando, abajo.
Patio.
Dos, mataron tres por Deli, güey. Buena.
Blue van.
Blue van, atrás de grama, uno.
Grama. Están en grama, dos entrando.
Falta otro grama.
Yeah, right now the comms for Zygnus sounding a little bit streaky. You have those moments of silence, and then all of a sudden you burst through and 3 players are talking at one time. So I feel like if you are Zygnus, you want to be a little bit more consistent, constantly relaying that information, trying to put your teammates in the best position possible. They're going to get broken right there. Some big plays going in for Tatio. Not enough to maintain. Finds a crucial one right there. Now 19 kills on the board. Make it 20. Definitely a big game for him, but they need to pop off right here. Pops kinetic, needs the kill. He finds it. Crucial one onto Jez, pushing on out right here. There's a whole lot of Seminole players pushing through, but he finds a double kill. Make it a triple. Raballo drops. Tatio beaming across the map right now. Just wins the big gunfight on the inside of the hard point. And now Zygnus finds themselves in the position they need. A wasted pred missile that could be terrible. He actually takes himself out with it right there, and that could be exactly what Seminole needs. We still have Zygnus on the point, but definitely very weakened right here. Is Seminole now in a position to push?
Yeah, Seminole have a great opportunity to make this break. Tatio trying his best to hold it down, but a couple kills come through for Sem. Are they able to make the break? We have Jez rotating on through the back, looking like he's trying to pick one up, but gets taken down by Justin. Zygnus able to pull things together on that second rotation of P2. They get themselves a game win, and another just fantastic match, neck and neck all the way through. Quite often it was Obviously, a lead going over to the side of Seminole early on, but again, I think in the long run, the teamwork and coordination of Zygnus just going to come out and be a little bit more overwhelming than I think Seminole was ready for tonight.
Yeah, Tatio, one of the players we mentioned, making the big plays, 25 and 19, 38 seconds on the hill. Over on Seminole, just nobody really with a pop-off performance. You see every single player on the team, either even or negative right there. High doing everything that he can, but just wasn't quite enough, as we do see Zygnus coming away with the win there in the first respawn. Do you give either of these teams a certain amount of advantage when it comes to the search and destroy?
That's hard to say because search and destroy, while it is very, very team skill oriented, it is also very gun skill dependent, and we definitely have slayers on both of these teams, and we have snipers on both of these teams that are very, very accomplished. So we'll have to see who's able to pick up those first bloods. Again, if I had to take a guess, I would still probably lean on the side of Zygnus. Just again, they've both these teams have been together like equally as long, even though Seminole has had their like history of a couple players being on different teams. They still largely compete together as Seminole in other tournaments. So they've been together for a long time. Zygnus has been together for a long time, but I just think that Zygnus has a little bit more of that professional experience that may give them a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, right now, Seminole trying to find a way to win, getting ready to hop into the search and destroy, where they look to push things to a game number 3. If we go to a game 3, it's going to be takeoff domination, which is not one that we see a whole lot, but if you're Zygnus, you're just looking to close things out right here and end it as soon as possible, especially with the amount of raw gun skill that you see over on Seminole. You don't want to play any more games that you have to, and with how quickly things can snowball on takeoff domination, you would definitely like as much as possible to be able to avoid that. Who are the snipers we need to keep an eye out for on Seminole? Obviously, we got Cheto over on Zygnus and maybe a couple other players that'll pull it out every once in a while. Is there anyone that we expect to be dominant in that role for Seminole?
Well, it would normally be High, who you'll recognize obviously from the former teams like Nova Imperium, I think Arsenal back in the day. But he's not playing with us here tonight. So I'd be looking at probably Vague is probably going to be your number 1 player to pick up a snipe. We could also see a Slothy or High pick one up, and we'll have to see.
All right. I'm curious. I feel like the only times I've seen Vague pull out the sniper is when he's been trolling. So I'm excited to see him do it in a competitive setting. Obviously getting ready to hop in as both the teams switch sides right there. Nobody having really a terrible game right there for Seminole, but just not quite what they needed in order to pull out the win. Zygnus doing a good job at getting those early rotations, winning the gunfight, solid holds as well. They get the win in game 1 of the hardpoint. Right now it looks like maybe a couple loadout adjustments coming in for Seminole. They do have 20 points coming into this, so we'll take a look at the standings real quick. Just for some context, these have not been adjusted in any way. Obviously, Zygnus at the very least going to be up at 20 points, so at the very worst, even if they lose the next 2 games, they're still going to be tied for 3rd place. They have the potential to maybe even move into 1st place if they are able to get the sweep right here. That would put them up at, I believe, 35, which would put them ahead of 11T. We do still have a couple more matches coming up tonight, but none of the teams that are playing going to be able to... What? Does Devious play tonight? No. Devious does not play tonight. So really right now, it's all onto one of these teams as they look to move into that 1st place spot. We got all of our players loaded in and ready to go for game number 2.
Yeah, definitely going to be a fun one between these 2 teams. Again, I've got the edge on Zygnus, but that is absolutely not to say that Seminole can't come through and pull together a victory. It's just a matter of time. I mean, this is a amazing roster of Slayers. They just obviously need to fine-tune some of their teamwork, as well as quite possibly just work on the whole taking every game seriously aspect, because that's going to be some of their biggest practice is these games. And again, when they feel like they don't need to try, they often don't. So we'll have to keep an eye on their gameplay and their attitude evolvement as we get on through. But Search and Destroy is firing on up right now.
Yeah, it looks like on the offensive, Seminole looking to play really aggressive. I don't think I've seen... No, I take it back. Jez is going to pull out the snipe right there, and he's going to find first blood onto Tio. That's exactly what Seminole needs right there. Slows down the defense and maybe opens up a couple opportunities for Seminole to make a push on in Ace. Right now, Envoy 1 HP. High slides through. He's not able to finish him off right there. That's going to be a huge trade. And it looked like they had the perfect opportunity to open that up in a big way, but huge turn out of Envoy to be able to move things to a 4-4.
Yeah, definitely a pretty good position. I didn't even notice that Jez was in the lobby. I definitely would have pointed him out as another one of those sniping talents for the side of Seminole. And right now you can see a little bit of a coordinated push up right now. Kimwax able to find a couple bullets onto Vague, ends up picking up the kill, finds a second onto Slothy as well. You can definitely imagine he's got that call out going to his team to start making that rotation over. You can see that is going on. Just making the long jungle side rotation come through. Raballo able to pick up one onto Envoy there is going to bring things into a little bit more of a doable scenario. If Jez can find the kill onto Kimwax, it's going to bring things back to a 2 versus 2. Big opportunity. They have the bomb available. Oh, but just able to clutch up the 1v2 gunfight.
All right, that was I missed the flank right there, but perfectly timed for Just. He's going to be able to find 2 kills right there. 2 going in for Kimwax as well, and it is going to be Zygnus taking the 1-0 lead off the start. Obviously, like you mentioned, Jez, and that's something I should have noticed as well. Oh, it looked like he had the angle, but Cheto's going to be the one landing the shot. Tio nade over top onto Vague as well. Players dropping off the start once again for Seminole, who has yet to find a first blood right here. You can see Kimwax now with the defense. Looks like he had the angle, and he has the read. The Holger in hand. Doesn't quite have the angle. It's going to be Raballo sliding around the corner, but Envoy able to get at least one of the trades right now. The pressure on for Slothy and for Raballo. It's now all on to Raballo. Not going to win the gunfight. Just gets the Peekers advantage right there, and Zygnus with a hot 2-0 start, looking to close this out and potentially a sweep.
Yeah, definitely a team that's capable of doing so, and definitely a team that would be looking for that kind of point advantage early on in a Mobile Mayhem event, and definitely pushing for it right now. And again, this is kind of what I was mentioning. I think a little bit more of that professional experience for the side of Zygnus is one of the biggest things that is going to help carry them through in a matchup like this. Because Seminole as a roster, again, these guys participate in tournaments, but on like this level, they've mostly been here and there on different teams. So that is definitely a factor that you have to consider when you're talking about matchups of this caliber.
Ooh, High gets caught out. Kimwax is going to find Jez right there. And now the pressure onto Vague. Needs to clutch the 1v2. He's in a bad spot. Taking a little bit of damage from Kimwax right there. Now making the push around the side. Shorty, too strong. There is no counter. You either hit your shots or you don't. Kimwax there to get the defuse in time. What a start right here for Zygnus, as they have been able to win those crucial 1v1s whenever they need to. And right now the 3-0 lead exactly where they want to be. And looking at the kills, Seminole's been able to find the kills every round, but just not at the right time. They've not been able to close out those crucial gunfights at the end. They're trying to apply some pressure, but for the most part, just kind of staying in that mid-map area, trying to find a pick from over in wood. And right now, like Raballo peeking mid with an MX-9, you're not going to find a kill in that scenario. It's just not going to happen. It seems like a little bit casual with their decision making right here, and some of the SMG players maybe trying to play angles they don't need to be playing. They get picked off the start again. High is going to drop. Only one player there to defend for Kimwax. He's going to be able to hit some shots, not able to get a kill. Slothy finds a big one to open things up, and now B site is wide open.
Yeah, and this could be a big opportunity if they're able to find the one, but it's going to be Cheto finds Raballo. That's going to bring it down to just a Tio left over here. Vague going to pick that one up. Now you should be getting a bomb plant going. You're in a 2v3 already. You can see Jez is rotating over to watch the backside, looking for the kill onto Just. Not going to be able to find it, and unfortunately that leaves Vague in a really rough spot as players collapse onto him. Envoy picking up the kill, and realistically at that point, we had not a whole lot of reason for Jez to push up the right side there. Vague was planting the bomb. You were already at a disadvantage. Play back, play your defense. You know your angles where the bomb is planted, and instead did ego challenge a little bit there and ended up paying for it.
Just having himself a huge game, as is Envoy, combining for 11 and 3 so far, and Zygnus in complete control through 4 rounds. It's Jez with the bomb in hand, and once again, just not a whole lot of defense over here on the B site. Kimwax left all by himself, but Tio, the God Nade goes over top. He finds 2 right there, and somehow Zygnus still at a man advantage right there. Slothy with a huge trade, a 2v2, but he's traded out as well. The pressure on for Raballo, but it's going to be Cheto. The double snipe to close things out right there, and they're on the verge of hitting the sweep here and search and destroy and taking the 2-0 win. Right now, if you're Seminal, you need a massive round 6.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a rough spot to be. I would have thought that this would have been a little bit closer. I mean, I definitely, you know, as I mentioned, I had Zygnus winning, but definitely didn't have them winning a 6-0. That is for sure. It is now the 4 versus 3 advantage, but as I say that, Cheto's able to find another Vague. Now pushing up behind. Can he find the kill? Gets a couple of hit markers, ends up finding the kill onto Cheto. Kimwax falls at the same time, and at least 1 round goes over to the side of Seminal, but they need to find 5 more. They cannot afford a mistake at this point.
They do look a lot more confident on the defensive side right here, so we'll see if maybe that prolongs the game a little bit, maybe gives them a shot at a comeback, but you just have so little margin for error when you give the other team a 5-0 lead off the start. Envoy pre-firing right there, and now Seminal players dropping like flies. Vague gonna be able to find 1, but still a 2-man disadvantage. He and Slothy need to make a miracle happen right here. There's so many players right there. Nearly wins the gunfight. That's an ego shell if I've ever seen one right there. Peeking 3 players over on the A site. It's a dominant win for Zygnus Esports. 6-1 up against Seminal. They come through big right there to get the win in the 2-0 victory. That's going to allow them to move into the first place spot.
As Zygnus off to a great start here, showing you guys exactly why they were the first place team for Latin America, and obviously we have the that crossover going on now between the 2 regions, kind of bringing it back to the roots of Mobile Mayhem, where we had, you know, back in the day it was Infinex, and then Nativos Latinos, and then even a season of Zygnus as well, but definitely a really solid and fun set of matches there. Definitely a good one to show kind of where Seminal stacks up a little bit. It is hard to say on like things like the ping, because I don't know, it seems like one day players will say the ping is fine between NA and LATAM, and then other days it's not. So I don't know if that was a factor here, but definitely a solid game for the side of Zygnus.
Yep. We typically expect the snipers to play a really big role. I believe the sniper for Seminole actually leaving the lobby before the game's done. Obviously, Cheto having a pretty solid game right there. 7 kills on the board. And it just across the board, consistency for Zygnus. Every player making those even contributions. They played really well together. They're able to get each other's trades, and just throughout the search and destroy seem to be the stronger team. They get a big win right there, and that's going to move them up into first place. Taking a look at our standings, Zygnus now 35 points on the board for them, 10 points ahead of 11T. Keep in mind, we do still have a couple more matches to go tonight. But Mayhem still at 0 points. Primal at 0 points as well. Nobody going to be able to get close to Zygnus, and they'll be your leaders at the head of the pack coming out of week number 2, or day 2 of week 2.
Yeah, definitely. I do believe we do have that interview to play with Pengy, if you have it downloaded.
I do not have it downloaded. Oh, you sent it to that drive. Okay. I will get that downloaded as soon as possible. Oh, that's large. All right. Well, we do have another match ahead of us. We might have to play the interview after game number 2, depending on how the timing, or I guess this would be game number 3. Game number 3. Match number 3. We've got Primal versus Mayhem coming up next. Should be another good one. Obviously, Mayhem, one of your qualifying teams for North America, going into stage 5. Primal, not able to qualify, but definitely making some good progress. Constantly building on the team and the roster that they have. Both of these teams typically stronger S&D teams, so that's going to be a good matchup. Obviously, we'll typically give the advantage to Mayhem in the respawn, but any potential surprises that we could see right here?
I think actually the last time we saw these two teams face off, it was like around 10 or something, Search and Destroy, that Primal was getting actually really good. So I'm hoping we have some solid gameplay between these two teams here. Obviously, Maralta would be that starting sniper for the side of Primal, but also have Reckless iOS, who has been proving himself to be a pretty solid sniper in some of the past seasons, and hopefully will come through with that performance today. And it's definitely nice for them to have that kind of second line of defense, because you look at Mayhem and they have the likes of Little B, Space, and Tectonic that can all pull out the sniper and play it at that tier 1 level. So we will have to see what we end up getting. But I think I would obviously agree with you at what you said at the beginning. I think everybody's pretty much leaning on Mayhem for this matchup, even though they've been struggling a little bit. And we'll have to see if Primal can prove us wrong. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. We've got Space, Little B, Nero loaded in for Mayhem right here. Expecting Tectonic and... who am I missing? Tectonic and Awaken, probably the last two to load in for them. We will take a look at the maps and bands as well. So right here, we got firing range hardpoint for game number 1. Bands for Primal going to be Crossfire, and for Mayhem it's going to be Standoff. So once again, not one we expect to see a whole lot. Also, Mayhem banning the Death Machine. So the potential for a lot of Sparrows and also a lot of kinetic armor. The Death Machine, not an operator that we typically see banned a whole lot. Like we said, take off, search, and destroy. Once again, not a search and destroy map we see a ton of in the Summit Domination if we go to a game 3. Any of those maps stick out to you particularly one way or another?
Not hugely. The big thing is the ban on the Death Machine is a play that NYSL are actually pretty known to do. It forces them, forces their opponents to either respect ban the Annihilator away, or potentially even chance letting the Annihilator through. Because that's a big operator for both Tectonic and Little B are absolutely crazy with it. So definitely see a bit of respect there, and you can tell that it's something that Mayhem definitely are working on as like part of their ban and draft strategy moving forward for like stage 5, for example. And I actually had this conversation with Verdict a little bit earlier. He was mentioning he's surprised he's not seeing more like GAs on things like the kinetic armor, for example. And I think a large part of that is going to be that these teams that are competing in Worlds are going to be looking to be practicing those same conditions that they're going to be stuck in. So for Europe, it was Anarchy, Stamina, and Nova. Don't expect to see any GAs on kinetic armor at all from them in any tournament. Doesn't matter if it's Mobile Mayhem, whatever it may be. And I think it's pretty much going to be the same thing here for the side of the pond of North America, where, you know, again, ARP, Tribe, NYSL Mayhem, they're going to want to be practicing in those same conditions that they're going to face here coming up in, like theoretically like 2 months or whatever.
Yeah, I believe. I mean, if it's 2021 champs, the latest that it could happen is December. So, at the very least, in 2 months, we've got Solar loaded in. I don't know if he is currently
He's,
a
I
sub
believe, on the Mayhem roster.
Okay, is he listed on their roster?
I don't think he's signed to Mayhem like on paper, but I think he is on their team for Mobile Mayhem.
Okay, I was not aware of that. I don't see him on the roster, but maybe a substitution that is not officially listed yet. And definitely an unusual roster here for Mayhem is Tectonic not with the team. That's always going to be a player that is significantly missed, as he's well known as one of the best players in all of North America. We'll see if Solar can fill that spot for them, as obviously very new to the roster, not a player we've ever seen play with them before, and both of these teams hopping on in right here off the start. Solar on the inside, gonna get beamed by FaZe. It's gonna be Nero there for the trade. Awaken finds one as well. Waze trades back and forth. 4 points going in off the start, a couple more as well for Mayhem right here. They need to be able to take that trailer control if they're going to be able to maintain it. Moralto finds a big one on the back side. I believe the M67 AMAX right there. But wow, what a shot out of Solar on the inside of the hard point. Finds another right there, and 4 kills off the start are going to be big for Mayhem. Whoa.
Whoa. Definitely a big feed for Mayhem there. Slaying on through. They've got more control out of a P1 than I think I've ever seen on firing range, which is to say a lot, because normally I'm here saying, you know, every one of these spawns on this map, you're basically in grenade throw range or within a couple seconds of just flat out having line of sight, and Mayhem grab 50 of 60 points off of the P1 and are now looking to get into their P2. And they have those spawns locked down and available. You can see Nero popping the kinetic armor there, rotating on through. Might actually, I was going to say, he looked like he was going to die from Reckless iOS from behind, but his team's there to pick up the refrag and save him. And Mayhem just absolutely in control of this match right now.
Yeah, and Solar's a big reason for that, getting a lot of intel out of that drone that he sent out right there. Leon pre-firing away. Leon's not a player that we've seen with this team for a while. Did not play with them in Stage 4, did not play with them in Masters. Definitely a strong start for him. We don't see Little B or Tectonic right here. Those have been really, with the exception of Nero, the two key staples of Mayhem throughout the past year. So the fact that they're able to play this dominantly off the start, obviously Primal not considered to be one of the top tier teams, but with this much of a change in the roster, you expect them to give up a little bit more of a fight. Leon's gonna find a double with the Pred right there, and just like that, they get another break at the inside of the hard point. Solar's gonna put down the sentry gun right there. They might be able to win this one in 3 hard points.
Yeah, it's certainly looking like it right now. Nero coming through with a big 2-piece, making a 3 as he pulls out the shorty switch onto Reckless iOS. About 20 points to go for the side of Mayhem. Just absolutely dominating right now. Moralto able to pick up one with the AMAX, but just gets absolutely decked by the Hunter Killer Nero through right before he died. And it's this is one of the more one-sided games we've seen in a long time.
And we see this every once in a while, but it's not typically with 2 major substitutions on a roster. We see a 150-0 for the first time in a long time right there. Whew! What a start right there for Mayhem. And Space coming out with it. I mean, that's just nothing of what you expect to see. Space, the last minute addition for Mayhem in Stage 4. Leon hasn't played with the team in I don't know how long. Solar comes up big. Obviously, Nero always going to be there, but oof, not a good start right there for Primal.
Yeah, I mean that's like the understatement of the year. That was rough to watch realistically, and hopefully they'll bring more of a fight for the search and destroy, because obviously we know the likes of Moralto and such are phenomenal search and destroy players. Reckless iOS, like I said, he's actually a really strong sniper, so we'll have to see if they're able to bring that to the table and maybe find some sort of groove. But my goodness, the 150-0 coming through for the side of Mayhem, as you mentioned, with 2 substitutions. One, a player we haven't seen play for this roster in a long time at this point, and then another, a recent pickup. Now, granted, it is Solar from, I believe that Arsenal explicit roster, so that is definitely something to consider. A strong player that we know and love, and it's hard to really even judge how heavily this team could have pushed it, because it just was over so fast. I mean, we have Space was 12-3, Leon was 12-4, Nero 13-3 on the board for him, and I mean, that was just utter domination.
Yeah, that's I mean, I know we think of Primal as a stronger S&D team, but I think we've also got Little B now subbing in for the S&D. I think it's just going to be tough to mentally bounce back from that one. Primal absolutely smoked right there. I mean, your closest player to going positive was still -3, and even with 2 substitutions of players that are not necessarily like off the roster, but players that we don't typically see on the roster, for them to hop in and play like that in the respawn, gonna be really, really tough for this Primal team to bounce back in the S&D. And taking a look at our maps and bans real quick, it is gonna be Takeoff S&D, so definitely a much more passive map, one that can be played a lot of different ways. Have you seen this map played a whole lot in S&D recently? I feel like I haven't seen it in a hot minute.
I haven't seen it in a while. I know during the Girls Mobile Mayhem, it was one of the maps that was banned pretty consistently, right up there with, I think there was a lot of Hackney Yard bans, as well as Crossfire bans. So, I don't know. I've seen it here and there, but I can't remember the last time I saw a search with it other than, like, Stage 4?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think Stage 4 and Masters, I feel like, are the only times I've seen the search and destroy in this map. Obviously, I think we had one between ARP and NYSL, and NYSL made a big comeback on the map. So they might be feeling confident, but once again, Leon's not a player that they played with a whole lot as of recently. Looks like they're trying to throw him back into the rotation, and obviously didn't have a whole lot of trouble with it right there in that first hard point. Little B substituting in for Solar right here as they get ready to hop into the S&D, and really, if you're Primal, that's the last thing you want to see.
Yeah. I mean, I was almost like really feeling confident for them when Tech and Little B both weren't here. Even after the dumpster fire that was hardpoint, I was like, well, at least going into the search and destroy, they have 2 really good sniper talents, and we have Space for the side of Mayhem, but we haven't seen him snipe a lot since the transition to phone. So I was feeling pretty confident that we could at least get a good show out of Primal, and we still might. But Little B coming into the field is a big oof right now.
Yeah, that's gonna just make that objective a whole lot more difficult, especially on a map like Takeoff that just has millions of long angles that you got to work. The experience that he's got, both with sniping and on this map, gonna make it tough for them to deal with. And right now they need to bounce back. I mean, it's been, like we said, a hot minute since we've seen a 150-0 in Mobile Mayhem, and right now they're looking to find a big opening pick. Obviously, Little B holding some of those angles. Moralto, one of the key players that this Primal team's going to need to lead on, and Reckless going to be able to find one onto Awaken. If I had to guess, that's probably an M67 AMX. Trey's going in both ways, and Moralto hit markered right here, forced to back up. Doesn't want to repeat till he's got that regen down. Trophy system goes out. And right now, Leon sniping. That's something, I mean, if you can get 3 players that are legitimate sniper threats, that's going to be tough to deal with. He goes ahead, hops down, got the shorty out. Reckless going to find space as well. Now in a 3v3, and Leon playing these bottom angles, trying to find a pick with a shorty.
Yeah, Reckless is going to come through with a kill onto Nero, making things look pretty doable here in this first round for the side of Primal. They have the 3-2 advantage, as well as they do have bomb down. I don't necessarily know if they know they have bomb down, but it does look like several of the players are camping out in that angle. FaZe going to take a couple shots from Leon, but Leon going to make it out alive, at least for now. It looked like Reckless was looking for the shots through the window, couldn't quite get a confident line of sight, and it does look like Reckless is sitting here just playing that downed bomb angle, so we'll have to see what they bring to the table. Is Leon rotating? Oh my goodness.
Oh, if you're Reckless, you've got to win that one. Like, I think he unloaded half of his clip before Leon even got a shot up, but when you got the shorty, all you got to do is land one just like that. It's a 2v2. The little B drops. Pressure on for Leon right here. He's got 2 kills already, trying to clutch up for his team. Hasn't been with this Mayhem team in a while, but Bomb's not going to go down. And with that, Primal's going to take round number 1. Definitely an unusual round right there, and definitely an opportunity that Leon could have had more kills. You saw especially up in top of P2. Fired off 2 shorty shots at pretty close range, but just wasn't able to get the kill right there. Maybe if that one goes through. It goes a little bit differently. Primal taking a much needed round off the start, and Little B gonna drop to Meralto. Things going exactly the way that Primal wants.
Yeah, Primal, again, they had an opportunity coming into this search and destroy. They actually have some good surge talent, but it's hard to feel confident for them after we witnessed that hard point. So we'll see how far they're able to take it. The first blood on the Little B is huge, and Waze, Amax in hand, going to pick up one on Space as well. Space opting to use the SKS. I don't know. In my opinion, a little bit less consistent than the Amax, but definitely a strong weapon, especially as you get into those like kind of close to medium range as opposed to the Amax.
Wait.
Whoa.
Leon finds 3 in a row right there. He's got a chance at a 1v5. FaZe's up top. Right now, Primal is just shaking. They don't want to let him get this right here. Waze and FaZe playing back so passive right now, but wow. What a start to this game for Leon. Hasn't been with the team in a hot minute. 5-0 off the start and trying to clutch up here at the end as well. He's got a shorty to work with. I think Waze might have spotted him right there. FaZe right on the outside of the corner. He's got the M67 AMAX, and Leon trying not to get spotted. Seems like, oh, FaZe had an idea, but now he's got no clue. That's going to allow Leon to maneuver a little bit, but he's got to make a push. Wade's going to find him right there. Primal's still able to close out the round.
That was a must-win for Primal. I don't know about you, but if I'm a competitive pro team and I get 1v5 clutched by someone sniping who we've never really seen snipe in this level of competition, and who also hasn't played for this team in realistically it feels like months at this point, that might be just time to go to bed after that. So.
Yeah. Oh, and I think he saw the top of Meralto's head. You're looking at Leon?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He
definitely sees it.
He's just got to find the timing. And then timing on ADS is at the worst time possible. Waze is still going to get picked right there. Oh my gosh. Meralto avoids the shots. FaZe going to find one onto Nero to even things up. 4-4 right there. Could have been a huge pick, but it's going to be Reckless. Finding another one onto Little B right there, and things falling apart round after round for Mayhem. Awaken's finally going to find one onto Meralto right there. Evens things up to a 3-3. But Awaken gets picked right there. FaZe trades once again. SKS again that you might see a little bit more this season after the buffs that it got. Leon at least gets the information onto Mangoes. But a lot of pressure. You do not want to go down 3-0 off the start.
You definitely don't. It's going to be FaZe picking up one onto Leon. Space now pushing up. As you mentioned, the SKS did get some buffs, and is actually quite deadly in those, I guess I would say ranges that are just outside of shorty range is like ideal for the SKS. So really, really potent combination. Does have some long range potential as well. But it is going to be the 3-0 lead for the side of Primal. After that 150-0 hardpoint, I gotta say I'm glad to see Primal just coming back and putting up one hell of a fight right now.
Yeah, and some definite mental toughness for them to be able to bounce back this strong from a loss that sizable is definitely just really, really impressive. So they're trying to take the 4-0 lead right here. It's going to be Nero finally finding first blood. Little B, that was his first kill of the game. He just has not been able to find anything, but immediately turns onto FaZe right here, and now it's going to be Waze finding himself all alone. Awaken in the top side over there. He's going to have to try to find a pick and a 1v4, and slowly the Mayhem players closing in. Little B watching one angle. Awaken pressing in on the backside as well, and with the bomb going down, now some additional pressure on Mayhem, not pushing any angles that they don't need to. They're just going to wait for him to make a mistake. Leon up in the top side. Wade's not going to be able to spot him right there. And with only 25 seconds left, basically an impossible situation. Not only needing to get those picks, but also needing the defuse. And it looks like at this point, you might as well just try to stick it out and play your life. But Awaken's going to find the kill anyway. A much needed first round for Mayhem.
Yeah, I still think I'm leaning pretty hard on Mayhem. It was a couple good first rounds for Primal, but I just, I'm going to be honest. I mean this in the most respectful way possible. It did feel like some of those first rounds were just like a lot of luck circumstances. Again, a lot of COD timing moments where it's like, man, you know, one more second and, you know, that would have been a double kill for, you know, Little B, but then turned away. So we'll have to see. But oh my goodness, that one not luck. That one a just clear thread the needle to Amax, picking up one through the crack of the door. Reckless iOS does get taken down in return by Space. However, it's going to remain a 4 versus 4, and you can see right now Mayhem with the bomb in hand for Nero do make the rotation back over. Awaken takes a couple shots, but will make it out alive. And now,
oh my gosh, two players looking directly at each other. Leon's gonna get pinked right there. Meralta with the shorty in hand. Mangos finds another. Now the pressure on to the Mayhem players once again. Space and Nero trying to find something, but Meralta around the corner, too clean with the shorty shots. Space all by himself should have a shorty to work with. He's gonna be able to find one, but pretty low on HP right here. Now in a manageable situation, 1v2. FaZe on the bottom side, but he's taking shots. Waze been so good so far with the M67 Amex, and at least over here on the defensive side, Primal looking really, really good. Waze 4-2, Reckless 6-5, FaZe 5-1. Consistency across the board, exactly what Primal needed, and an opportunity to push this to a game 3.
yeah, definitely looking like a big opportunity, and we have seen Mayhem struggling, but I didn't expect them to struggle quite this way against a team like Primal. It is going to be Little B opening with first blood onto Meralto, now making his rotation back over with his teammate Awaken. I do have that player advantage, and we do have Space chilling in pretty common spot for him. He really likes the top of this building here for overlooking the A bomb, so they'll have that communication from him should anybody rotate, but a couple shots do connect onto FaZe, not enough to get the kill. And Mayhem might be in a position to turn things around now that they're on the defense here on takeoff.
FaZe sitting back, playing things past, and this is one of the most passive offensives I have ever seen. Everybody from Primal sitting back in spawn. Waze is the only one who's pushed up at all. Little B's gonna find Reckless right there. And right now, Primal just has no type of map control. Waze and FaZe push back into some corners. They need to find a big pick right here to open things up. 5 players still alive for Mayhem. And the defense definitely looking like the strong side right now. Leon at 6-3, having himself a big performance in his return to Mayhem, but the little one tap to the head Exactly what FaZe needed. Follows it up.
Oh my
Huge
goodness.
snipe right here. And that's going to be a 2v2. Now the pressure on the little B in space. They had a 3-man advantage. Just completely evaporated. Fortunately for them, no map control. The bomb's starting to go down right here. Way's going to be able to try to get it, but not in time. And it's going to be Mayhem playing things well enough to not have to worry about it as they get round 6.
This is really feeling a little bit like opposite day for a couple of these teams. Like, the matchup we started with Tribe versus 11T was like the exact opposite of what we expected. Obviously, as we mentioned, 11T came through with that win in the respawn, and then Tribe came through with the win in search, which I don't think anybody was entirely expecting. At least it's not as one-sided as it appeared to be. But right now, you've got Primal 4 rounds ahead of Mayhem here in search and destroy, or well, 4-2 ahead of Mayhem in the search and destroy. FaZe gonna find Awaken. Big refrag for him. Space, unfortunately, unable to find the bullets to connect, but it doesn't matter. His team's there to back him up. Nero was looking for the kill onto FaZe, who has 9 on the board, but can't find the last bullet to connect, and that's gonna give him a big opportunity where he can now clutch this up. It's looking more doable. It's in a 1 versus 2. Does not have bomb though. I don't know if Mayhem necessarily know that bomb's down. Typically you'd see them playing that D around the bomb pretty heavy, and does look like we have an angle from one side, but Little B gonna get bodied by FaZe.
Yeah, he gets caught off guard big time right there. Now Leon gonna try to back up. He's gonna swap the shorty for the Renetti. That's not a swap that I expected to see. It looks like he's got the M67 AMAX in hand and waiting for FaZe to make the play right now. He's looking to find the retake. And right now patrolling the map. FaZe's got sniper in hand. 10 kills on the board for the first 7 rounds. Huge game for him as he looks to push this to a game 3, and Leon's still backing up. Trying to find an angle. Not going to see anybody right there. Bomb's still not in hand for FaZe yet. He's going to go ahead and push in right here. Able to pick up the bomb, and now Leon should know where he needs to go. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get there in time, and FaZe now trying to get the bomb plant down. It looks like it's going to happen right here. Leon has the read. Perfect corner right there. And I think he's going on over to shoot some bodies right there. He's feeling pretty confident in his team's ability to bring on the comeback. And I guess he's got a few magazines for that body. Wow. He said, I'm getting rid of all of the ammo before I go for the... Is he going to swap to the AMAX to shoot the body as well? Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. I mean, after you do that, you better get the win.
You better win, right?
That being said, he hasn't been with his team in a hot minute. Finds himself double positive, 8-4. But like we said, if you're going to do that, you better find a way for your team to win.
Yeah, definitely been an interesting match between these two teams. As you mentioned, the defense seeming to be the much stronger side here, and it's kind of hard to say because when we do get the side switch, assuming we went to around 11, that's going to put the side of Primal back on defense. So you got to be thinking, if you're Mayhem, you need to close it out here in the next 3 rounds to have like the best position. So can't afford to make a mistake. Need to find some kills here. Awaken sitting outside the door here. Might be looking for a rotation up from Moralto. But another just very, very passive offense for the side of Primal.
Yep, you got Reckless pushed up a little bit on the inside of Stadium. Moralto looking for the pick. Hasn't been able to find anybody yet. Takes a lot of damage. Awaken drops him right there. Leon taking some damage after the body shooting. Able to stay alive. It's going to be Nero, the one that gets picked right there. Awaken going to be able to find FaZe, and he's really been the X factor so far for Primal. 10-3 for them. Leon's going to find another one right there. He's got 9 kills. Little B in space, still alive. Mangos sneaks his way through, and that might be a massive flank for them. We got to keep an eye on him. Could potentially find one of these players off guard, and Leon maybe with a little bit of COD timing. It's tough to say who's going to go in favor of, but he takes a shot right there. Leon doesn't hear it. He's going to drop. Little B's going to find a pick onto Waze right there. Space still set up in the top side. He should be able to find the kill right here, and he does. Mango's going to drop just like that. We're tied up at 4-4.
Been a great series between these two teams. Mayhem making a pretty sizable comeback. I mean, we were sitting at 3-0 lead for Primal not too long ago. And now again, if you're Mayhem, you've realistically got to close it out in the next two. The defense from Primal was honestly looking too good to chance it. So they need to take every opportunity they can get. Concussion does come through. I don't think it hits anybody, so that could give some weird information. Oh no, space.
Oh, tight angle
How is
right
he
there.
alive?
Oh, Meralto gets beamed by Awaken. Meralto had a huge opportunity to be able to get a kill, but just didn't quite have the angle from the high ground. Somebody's going to be able to sneak on underneath right there. And we got player one. Nero's pushed all the way back into their spawn. Waze is waiting for him right there. It seems like Nero has some information on his location. He's just playing the way. I mean, he's staring the laser down. He can go ahead and peek it right there. He's going to be able to find an easy kill. And not having any type of laser on his gun going to be a massive advantage. Pick after pick. Mayhem finding everything that they need. Little B going to clean that one up. What was a 3-0 lead for this Primal team has completely evaporated. And now it's Mayhem one round away from closing things out. The body shooter Leon not regretting his actions yet. 10-5 right now. His team one round away from closing things out. We'll see if they can make it happen right here in Nero with a big first blood.
Yeah, Nero with one. We also lost Meralto for the side of Primal. This is looking like it is Mayhem's game to win. Mangoes with the COD timing looks away from the corner and gets pushed on by Leon. The second he looks away, Leon finds FaZe as well. It's now Waze in a 1 versus 5, and I don't know, man. I'm not feeling like this one's doable, and sure enough, Mayhem find a way to come back. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about that one, man.
It just seemed like all the COD timing that Primal got in the first half, they completely lost in the second half, and that's just sometimes the way that it goes. But wow, what a second half right there, and what a day for Leon. Maybe trying to make a case for himself being in the starting lineup for stage 5. 12 kills there in the search and destroy. Solid performance in the hardpoint as well. Comes back with a bang to this Mayhem roster, and definitely a really good effort out of Primal, but those first 3 rounds just seemed like completely went to waste as the lead dissipated so quickly. FaZe doing everything that he could, but wasn't able to find anything in the later rounds as well. It's going to be a 2-0 win for Mayhem as they take match number 3 of the night. We got one more for you guys, but before we hop into the matchup, we've actually got an interview with who's
Pengy.
Pengy from ARP. So we're going to go ahead and hop into the interview real quick, and then after that, we will be back with our final match of the night.
Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you guys are having a good time watching the games here for Mobile Mayhem. We have had some exciting days so far, and this will be our start-off interview for the season. And I really wanted to reach out and get someone from ARP because they came through with that fantastic win in Stage 4. And my goodness, what a turnaround you guys had. I was shocked. I don't think anybody really had you guys going all the way, and you guys pulled it through and looked so good doing it, Pengy. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. I mean, what was like kind of your guys' initial reaction like following Stage 4? Obviously, that's a pretty big event to win. You guys were able to secure your world spot along with Tribe and NYSL, who came in second. So you guys have to be excited about that. That's no small competition to win.
Yeah, we're very excited. We have a lot of doubters before we came into Stage 4, a lot of hate, but we overcame that. We believed in ourselves. We believed in our fans who always supported us, and we pulled through and got the W.
Yeah, the pickup, I know we were talking a little bit before the interview started. The pickup of Jesus Save seems to have been just a phenomenal addition to the team. I know I've been criticized a bit in the past when I mentioned that Jesus was, rightfully dropped from Mayhem. And sometimes that just happens, right? On paper, sometimes things look good. Didn't work out there. He joined up with you guys, and my goodness, you guys are looking great. Definitely a team that I slept on as well. But I'm feeling it. I'm on the ARP hype train right now.
Yeah, picking up Jesus was for me a surprise because I literally remember this day too. I come into VC into the ARP server and I see Jesus Can Save You in the VC. I'm like, what is this? I thought he was in Trouble Mayhem, and I thought he was just subbing in. But apparently, Antox gives us the speech and says that we're gonna pick him up, give him a try.
Well,
A
it
couple
clearly
months
worked
later, we
out.
win. Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
guys
like,
have.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead. Don't, this is all about you, man. This is all about you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I cut you off, but yeah. A couple months later, we won stage 4. By big standards, Jesus Can Save You. Honestly, the most biggest motivator of the whole team. Motivated me for sure to keep on grinding the game, keep on finding different ways to find this game entertaining, even though it's been a kind of a steady drought over the past 2 years I've been playing this game. If it wasn't for Jesus, most of the members in ARP wouldn't have been as motivated as we were when it came to stage 4.
Yeah, I think that's you bring up a good point there, and that's one that I have actually criticized ARP about a little bit in the past, is that it seems like you guys practice all the time, like with no breaks, and it's not necessarily that I criticize the fact that you guys are out there practicing and working for it. It's just I am a little bit worried quite frequently that you guys are going to get a little bit burnt out just putting so much time in. So it's good to have someone on the team that helps keep you guys motivated and keeps the energy positive. And you know, like I said, it obviously worked out well for you guys. You guys got first place. Not only was it a big prize pool, but it was also some pretty huge bragging rights. Again, as you mentioned, to all the haters that didn't believe in you and are able to give a big shout out to your fans and make sure that they see that their team is moving on. So pretty awesome there. Obviously, North America not the only team going to Worlds, and as I was mentioning before, I think I really want to keep this to like maybe LATAM, North America, and Europe, just because that's what most of the North American Mobile Mayhem fan base will be familiar with. What teams are you like perhaps looking forward the most to playing at Worlds, and what team are you maybe the most worried about at Worlds?
In terms of the team that I really want to play against, I want to play against the top EU team and the top Latin America team, Zygnus and Anarchy. They're honestly, I want to see like how it goes between the top NA and top EU, or top Latin America and top NA, and vice versa. I just want to see how it goes. And the teams that we're mostly scared about, honestly, it's our own region teams, Tribe and the New York Subliners. They're the two only teams that know how we play, know how we set up, so they're going to be the most dangerous when it comes to Worlds. So hopefully when it comes to the World stage, we don't face them in the beginning. We more so face them towards the end of the tournament, because we want to come as a surprise. And it's kind of difficult to come as a surprise if there's two teams that have been knowing how we play for the longest. So, yeah.
Right, playing against them in Mobile Mayhem, and surely you guys are scrimming in the background and stuff like that. So yeah, I totally feel that and respect that answer. That's pretty solid. Obviously, obviously you guys are in like, I don't want to say a weird place, but you guys have that that kind of hybrid following, right? Like there's always that LATAM versus NA, but you guys obviously have a bit of fans on both sides of the fence, so that'll be pretty cool to see you guys facing off against the likes of Zygnus, for example, as you were mentioning, the #1 Latin American team. So I think that'll be definitely a pretty exciting one, and Anarchy as well. Everybody here knows I am a huge Anarchy fan, so I definitely want to see them go up against the top teams of the other regions as well, and you can never discount Tribe or the Subliners either. So we'll have to see how the season develops. Obviously, here at Mobile Mayhem, this is going to be your kind of #1 spot for you know, watching the European broadcast or watching the North American broadcast or the LATAM one to see how teams are developing moving towards Worlds. So it should be a good time. Obviously, we didn't get to see you guys on, what was that, Thursday of last week. You guys had some personal team issues that players weren't able to make it, and that's all fine and dandy. But are you guys perhaps worried about maybe facing Seminal down the road?
If we put in the work that like we always did before we came into stage 4, this is going to be the same process, same repetition, every day scrimming. We're going to get back into scrimming in I think either today or tomorrow. So no, we're not scared of any team, to be honest, including Seminole.
That's good. That's
So
good.
I'm actually more hyped to face the tougher teams in this season's Mole Mayhem. Gonna be good practice for stage 5 for sure.
Yeah, especially Seminole. Seminole's a big one for I think you guys, subliners, and Tribe because obviously they're a very, very strong team. They're a team that many teams have regarded to be as good, if not better, than the number one team, like top 3 teams in North America. And they're not somebody you guys have to worry about as a Worlds competitor. So I feel like they're probably going to be on a lot of people's scrim table here in the near future, as well as there actually are a couple other really good teams in the mix as well. As far as what we're looking at so far, obviously 11T came through with a big performance over Mayhem on Thursday, so that is definitely another one of those Latin American teams that we'll be on the lookout for, as well as Devious was another big team. Have you guys scrimmed them at all in the past, or?
No, like I said earlier, we're gonna start scrimming either today night or tomorrow. So we haven't really teams, and this is actually kind of a first that I find out that Devious got into Mole Mayhem. It's been a while since I've seen that team, so it's gonna be pretty interesting.
Yeah, they looked pretty good all through the qualifiers, and then obviously came through with their 2-0 win on Thursday. So definitely a team that I think a lot of people are going to have their eyes on to see how they develop and if they can compete at the top. Definitely some other really strong teams out there as well coming into the mix. The likes of Storm F4 has a lot of potential. Primal has potential, but just season after season has been unable to find whatever missing sauce it is that they need. And then Status Quo as well. I actually, looking at the top 10, I mean, there's definitely like a top 5 that I can see. But I gotta say, and I hope you guys feel the same too, I feel like the top 10 for North America looks way more competitive this season than it did last season.
Yeah, I agree. For sure, like all the underage players that were from last Mole Mayhem season coming into this season, they're gonna make a huge difference for the scene. I'm really excited to see the competition in this Mole Mayhem season.
Yeah, should be a fun one. I had a lot of fun that first day casting. I wish we would have got to see your guys' game. I was super hyped for that Seminole versus ARP match, man. After all the people hyping up Seminole, saying that they're the best in North America, I'm like, well, this is the number 1 team in North America right now. Let's see this matchup. But I think that's probably about it for the interview right now. But I definitely want to make sure I give you an opportunity to shout out the team, your fans, anything you would like. So.
Oh, could I say something about that number 1 NA team?
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm pretty sure all my teammates will agree that we are not the number 1 team in North America. Yes, we won stage 4, but at the end of the day, we only care about stage 5. We want to be the number 1 in the world. So at the moment, no, we're not the number 1 North American team. We're gonna work towards it to become the number 1, and we have to put in the work. And my team and I are ready to put in the work in the next month and a half till stage 5. I just want to put that out there because really a lot of people have been telling me that we are that status. I just don't feel it, to be honest.
Hey, that's a good drive to have, though. That's a great attitude to have, a great drive to have. Keep pushing for that world spot. It's not just about NA. You want to be the number 1 team in the world. So
exactly, yeah. And shout out to all my fans, to la raza que tengo yo en Trovo. Gracias por su soporte, la Latinoamérica. Les amo a todo. Sabes que yo voy a ganar por ustedes. Esto es para ustedes. Ustedes me motivan para jugar todos los días. Sabes lo que te digo. Pero yeah. And do I share on my social media too?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram at PengyConMobile. Same handle on Twitter. And I stream on every morning on Trovo from 8 a.m. EST and onward. And Pengy Trovo Live. So thank you.
All right, make sure you guys give Pengy a follow. Make sure you guys give him some of your love. They're a team that is going to be representing North America in Worlds. Thank you so much for joining us, Pengy. And if your games haven't already happened tonight, good luck.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for our interview with Pengy. Thank you, Day. And thank you, Pengy, for doing that. We do have one more match tonight. Storm versus Status Quo. I think there's a pretty obvious favorite in this one. Status Quo, a lot of really solid players going up against Storm, who is a newer team to Mobile Mayhem. So Whew, man, looking at the status quo roster, they're looking nice. We got Solo, we got Blur, we got Ingenic, we got Washi. I don't know who Dayamilla is. That might be somebody from past seasons that I don't recognize because they changed their name. They'll be going up against Storm. Yawn, I feel like, is the only person that I recognize on that Storm roster. Is there anyone else we should watch out for?
I definitely got to look out for Yawn. You gotta believe in Bright. He definitely has his good games. He has his bad games, but definitely a solid player. Detri is actually a former teammate of Pelan from Op34. He's on the 11T roster now. And Kizzy also has some pretty nice search and destroy plays. So.
All right. Well, I'm excited to watch these two go at it. I'm not gonna lie, that status quo roster looks pretty nasty. I believe we are good to go whenever our admins want to hop in. We'll run through the maps and bans real quick, but bans on kinetic armor and annihilator, probably lots of sparrows. Storm banning crossfire crossfire in general. Status quo banning standoff. I think that's the second time we've seen that tonight. It's gonna be takeoff hardpoint for game 1, firing range S&D game 2, and if we go to game 3, Hackney Yard domination, which is not personally my favorite, but we've already got everybody loaded in. Hopping into things for the hard point on takeoff right here, and a whole lot of utility going on out. Kizzy with the high ground control right here, looking to clear out that hard point, but it's gonna be Blur already making the rotation across, and a strong start right here for the status quo roster.
Yeah, off to a big start. Obviously, we know what to expect from the team status quo with the likes of Solo, Blur, and Washi for sure on the team. Then you throw in Genic in it, who again, solid search and destroy player, and could definitely be a spicy team that could. I don't even necessarily want to say it. Call update or I mean upsets, because this is a solid team regardless, and we'll just have to see. Hopefully the admins can let us know who Yamila is, because I feel like I should know, but I don't. So.
Yeah, obviously a lot of these players are players that have just
it's Asta.
Oh, Asta. Okay. I mean, lots of players that have been on rosters that have been close to making it in champs, but just because of different situations haven't been able to make it. So obviously Washi, I believe prior to this split, was underage, but now seems to be of age. Solo played for Explicit and played a really big role in upsetting Tribe and knocking them out of the entire tournament. So his search and destroy performance, definitely something we're going to be looking forward to. Ingenic and Asta both on that Arsenal roster, and oh my gosh, the shots out of Blur from top of P2 right there, just so clean. He's got a gravity vortex to work with already, and that is a perfect spot for it. Going to be able to find one kill, trying to kind of lane off those areas, able to find the second one even with players pushing up. Claps trying to find something for this roster over on what is it, Storm right there, but right now the game does not. Okay, the game finally let me switch spectator POVs. Right now, solid lead forming for the status quo roster. A number of players already setting up for P2, but it looks like Storm with control off the start.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, Storm actually a pretty solid team. I mean, I wouldn't really say they're fully up to like what status quo is here for, but we'll see.
Yep, Solo set up in the top side, finds one, players crossing, finds two. Another Storm player down below, but doesn't have the angle for the visibility right there. And now we're going to back things up. A lot of that utility going in, playing his life so well. Bright through the smoke, hitting those shots right there. That's what Storm needs, but just as it happens, a triple goes on in for status quo right there. Blur missing a whole lot of shots. Fortunately for him, you only need one shot to the head to get the kill with M67 AMAX, and they're going to give up a tiny amount of scrap time right here, but already doubling up on this Storm roster, and a Goliath going on in for Blur. He's already got 13 kills. Not going to be easy to take out on the inside of the hard point. Gets hit by one Sparrow, but only going to take away maybe a fifth of the HP right there. And now a nasty angle for this Storm roster to try to work as they look to get the push on in. They take out the Goliath. It cost them an entire Sparrow, but they do get the break.
Cost them an entire Sparrow, as well as a Gravity Vortex was fired trying to get a hit on the Goliath, and didn't find anything to connect. And that's a pretty big tool for cutting off choke points. If you see a team that's rotating in, you can put that down. Gives your team an opportunity to reposition. Not necessarily a great operator to use for the kills specifically, but if used in the right point in time, it can be used to deny, for example, B flag caps and domination. It can close off complete access points to hardpoint, and if you're using that to take down a Goliath, it's going to be a rough game.
And right now, Storm doing a really good job of this hardpoint hold. Obviously, they give away a little bit of time at the end right there, but D3 set up in the top side right there, getting the scrap time. One player spawning right next to him. Don't really understand the spawn, but he's going to be able to survive it anyway. And Hunter Killer goes on out. Nobody over on P1 as both teams look to make the rotation back. It's going to be the Gravity Vortex finding D3 right there. A big feed goes in for Status Quo once again. Stacking on that lead, but a huge Pred missile out of D3, and that's going to clear things out for the time being. Washi finds a double kill. Solo looking to make the push on down as well. It's going to be Collapse just holding that corner, hoping that nobody rounds it. He's able to stay in it for the time being. Angelic drop shots, but not able to get the kill. It's going to get cleared out, but Storm still stacking that time. The thing they got to really pay attention to is that P2 control, that early rotation. Collapse trying to get shots from behind on the Blur, but he can't make the hop up right there. That could have been huge for them, but he gives up on it, and it's going to be Asta hitting some beams and getting the scrap time right here to set his team up for P2.
Yeah, pretty close game between these two teams. Washi going to pick up one on Yawn with the Hunter Killer. Now making their rotation over. Kizzy's looking for one onto Solo. Can't quite win that gunfight. Solo now rotating on over, trying to keep Bright from getting up into that point. They're only a couple seconds away. They've only need to hold it down a little bit longer. Kizzy going to find one onto Washi. We do get a pretty big break coming through here. Yawn finding one onto Solo. Ingenic throwing some utility on up, but Yawn pushes out a little bit too aggressive with the death machine there. Ends up falling, and we're 20 points in this game right now. Yawn gonna respawn, gets a double kill as he picks up one there. Detri and Kizzy each finding a double as well. This could be disaster for the side of, oh man, what is this team name? Status Quo now.
Oh, but a big Gravity Vortex for Blur right there. They can win it right here. Oh my gosh, crucial plays. Identifies the spawns right there, cuts them off on the rotation, doesn't allow them to get into the hard point. Like you mentioned, that could have very well been a Storm win right there if they got the full remaining time. But wow, what a play for Blur, and it is going to be Status Quo coming away with the win. Washi leading the way with 31 kills, but it's really Blur with 1 minute and 2 seconds on the hill, going triple positive right there, having himself one crazy game. And Asta maybe a little bit down on the kills, but the OBJ plays were there. Minute 23. Yawn doing everything he could. Wasn't quite enough, especially with the bottom three on the leaderboard going nearly double, make it even triple negative. Definitely gonna need to bring those players up with them if they're gonna have a shot at taking out Status Quo.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is not a pushover team, but like I said, Storm actually a team that has a lot of potential, especially if their opponents sleep on them, and it felt like that was almost the case there for a minute. The rotations were really solid on the side of Storm. I mean, you can see how far ahead the kill race was for the side of Status Quo, and still almost dropped the game there. So gonna have to keep an eye out for these guys on Storm, see where they're able to go, because Status Quo, looking at their lineup, I mean, you put them, you know, easily a team that's competing in those top 5 positions for North America, and one of the new teams to the block, able to come through and at least stir things up a little bit in that hard point.
Yeah, that was a lot closer than I expected it to be, especially with the number of new players that we see over on Storm. Usually, if we expect the underdog to make some noise, it's going to be in the search and destroy. So getting ready to hop into firing range. We'll see if they can do something. Do you know anything about primary snipers for this roster?
For the side of Storm, I'm not remembering off the top of my head, no. I want to say Kizzy and Detri, but I could be wrong.
Obviously, I mean, Washi is just one of the most exciting snipers to watch in general in North America. So that's one that we're always going to look forward to. We've seen Blur do it as well. Just so much talent on this Status Quo roster, and definitely going to be fun to see how they play the search and destroy. We've seen firing range S&D before tonight, so we'll see if we get any new looks, but you'd imagine for the most part probably going to be played relatively similarly, just waiting for each of these teams to ready up. And there is a very real possibility that Status Quo closes out the night right here, especially with the amount of talent that they've got. You got to think they've got a really good shot at winning this search and destroy, and maybe doing it convincingly.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely have to see, because like we said, Status Quo, one of those teams that you expect to be competing for those top 5 spots here in North America. The addition of Zygnus and 11T obviously taking up a couple of those spots right now, and those are teams that I expect to continue to be in the top 5, so a lot of competition this season. Again, way, way different matchups than we had in our last season this year, so I'm excited for it. The games keep getting better and better as we go. I mean, day 1 we opened up with a couple finals week level games, so should be a good time, Bobby. We're gonna have a good season. We're gonna have fun, and hopefully all the viewers and the players do as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there just weren't a whole lot of nights of Mobile Mayhem that I was excited for last season, but it seems like every night we've got at least 2 matchups that really have potential to go either way that are gonna make the entirety of the night exciting. So I'm excited. Even the teams like Status Quo that are not necessarily considered to be like powerhouses just have a lot of talent on them, and especially with some of the underage players making their way up, finally being eligible to play, there's just so much on the line, and that's really at the end of the day what you want as a commentator, as a viewer. You just want the best competition possible. So it seems like maybe one thing needed to be changed, maybe somebody lagged out, whatever it is. Should be ready to hop back into game number 2 pretty soon here.
Yeah, and I definitely got to be leaning on the side of Status Quo for this matchup, probably walking away with a 2-0 victory, but after that performance we saw out of the side of Storm there, definitely got to be thinking there's room where they could potentially find an upset. Definitely going to be hard with the likes of Washi and Blur on the lineup of Status Quo, especially moving into a search and destroy on firing range where those snipers are such a dominating presence. Detri, DLQ in hand. It looks like Collapse, DLQ in hand. And Holger at MX9 for the rest of the team, so looking like Detri and Clap's going to be the snipers taking on Blur and Washi here.
And thinking back to some of the most iconic plays that we've seen Washi make, I feel like the majority of those were on firing range, search and destroy. So some opportunity for him to make some highlight plays right here. Bomb in the hands of Ingenic right now as they pretty much completely clear out the B site. Obviously, everybody for Storm has some information, but actually being able to do something with it, completely different story. Bomb's gonna go ahead and go down. Washi gonna find that first blood. Storm finds, or Solo finds another one onto Kizzy right there. And now taking a look at Washi, just barely missing D3 right there, but he hits the follow-up. And right now, this round in complete control for Status Quo. Peeking on through that tiny hole in the wall. One player gonna go ahead and peek mid, but wow. Solo rips them apart right there, and that's the game, or the round number 1 that you're looking for if you're Status Quo.
Yeah, especially after such a close hard point, because realistically you look at the rosters here, and I think everybody pretty much expects the side of Status Quo to just walk away with a victory here. Claps. Looking for a cheeky snipe early on. Can't quite find it to connect. Everybody's going to make it across to A in a good position. Blur. Top of wood. Looking for anybody trying to make that crossover to cut off trailer. Might be able to get an opportunity here. Isn't looking at the player rotating over. Does now see Kizzy's going to go for the shot. Picks it up. But gets taken down by Yawn. The 1-for-1 trade comes through. Make it 2 as Yawn picks up the additional as well. And 35 seconds on the clock. It's pressure on for the side of Storm.
Oh, some COD timing for Washi. As soon as he on ADS's 2 players around the corner right there and open things up for Storm. Yamila, aka Asta, gonna find one to even things at 2-2. Solo gonna be able to go ahead and shut down the last 2 right there, and that's gonna be a 2-0 lead for Status Quo off the start. You expect them to be a dominant search and destroy team. Solo basically by himself dismantled Tribe in stage 4, and right now showing why he's one of the most feared search and destroy players. 6-0 off the start.
Definitely a great start for him. So far, Molly has only been able to find a 1 on the board. Not the performance we're used to seeing out of him, especially on a map like Firing Range, but using the Arctic 50, definitely something a little different. Even when we saw him snipe in the past, that's not a...
gosh.
Oh my goodness. Holy crap.
Wow, that was a fast end of the round and a ridiculous flick out of Washi. Player slides the inside of trailer, doesn't matter how fast they're moving. The perfect trade. And nobody in the negative if you're over on Status Quo. And Solo still hasn't died. He's got 8 kills through the first 3 rounds. Absolutely ridiculous numbers. They're steamrolling right now as Blur and Solo find another 2 off the start. And right now, Storm just running for their lives. What in the world?
This is about more what I expected to see out of these 2 teams. Again, I have belief in Storm to be a good team, but being a newly formed team with some very rookie talent, you don't expect them to have great performances up against the caliber of players they're going up against. So we'll see. If we look at the map, Kizzy rotates over for the B defense, and not a single player cares.
Oh, and Solo finally died. I mean, he was about to drop a freaking nuke and search and destroy. He was 12-0 right there. The bomb's finally going to go down. It's all collapsed by himself. Beautiful quick scope right there, but he's going to get peeked by Asa on the inside of American right there, not hitting the quick scopes. That is a 5-0 lead for Status Quo, who's looking to make a statement right here in the search and destroy.
Definitely in a good position to do so. It's going to be a long, hard-fought battle if they wanted to make any sort of comeback, and I don't particularly see it happening, but we'll have to see. Looking at Molly just pegging through the wall here. Can't quite find them to connect. Is it going to eventually find one through the wall onto Detry?
Yeah.
1-for-1 trade. Make it 2 as Bright picks up the kill.
Yeah, that was actually a 2-piece for him right there, so... I believe for the first time all game long, we have a man advantage going in for Storm right here. Maybe the offense a little bit more suited to their play style. Bright playing the corner right there. Shorty's going to round. Not going to be able to find the kill, and now it's all on to Ingenic and Washi. Not ideal range for the Shorty right here. Gets a hit marker onto 1. Still finds the kill. Perfectly played, and now it's going to be Washi pushing up to the bomb site. Beautiful quick scope right there. Now it's going to be what? I mean, Status Quo had no business winning that round, and regardless, it's going to be a 6-0, and that is a fast, dominant way to close out the night. Things looking a little bit iffy in the hard point, but the search and destroy, this team's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, absolutely. With a performance like that, you definitely can't discount their ability to take on some of the teams like your Levanties, your Mayhems, your Zygnus, Seminal, all those other teams competing for the top. So we'll have to see if they're able to pull things together and get a little bit more coordinated for hardpoint, because after that 6-0 dominant search and destroy, where even when things didn't look good for them, they just clutch it up, you definitely would like to see a little bit better of a performance out of them coming through for a respawn against that same team. So Solo coming through with 12 on the board, Washing and Jenik each with 6, and Blur and Asta each putting up 4 on the board. Pretty dominant performance, and yeah, I hope we see more out of them for respawn, because that game did not need to be as close as it was. The amount of kill lead that they had, just, I mean, it's hard to say if they were just farming out kills at that point, or if the rotations from Storm were actually just that good, which makes it a little bit hard to decipher where to capitalize on the points of the first game.
Yep. All right. Well, I believe that's going to close things out for the night. I was not expecting that game to go by so quickly, but Solo was just steamrolling his way through. And I believe we do have an update in our standings, but that is going to be it for the night. Do we have the spawn tonight?
No, Thursday. For
Thursday. Okay. There will be no spawn tonight. I'm probably gonna raid Sun, because I killed him and costed him $5,000 in the battle royale tournament, so I feel kind of bad. So we're gonna raid him to close out the night. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Whenever we raid Sun, tell him that Bobby says sorry, and Mobile Mayhem action is going to be back on Thursday night on Day's channel. Go follow Day. It is not going to be on my channel. It's going to be on Day's channel. So go follow Day, because it's going to be on Day's channel, because I am not going to be here. But that's going to wrap things up for tonight. Thank you to our admins for taking care of everything. Thank you to our teams for bringing their A games. That's going to wrap things up for tonight. Any final words, Dave?
No. I just hope the rest of the season continues to be as exciting as it has been so far. Again, there's a lot more talent spread out across the upper 6 or so teams of this region now, and I'm excited. I'm excited. The winner, I think the 2 top placing NA teams get an opportunity to play in the LATAM Mobile Mayhem next season as well. So there is some additional opportunity on the line, as opposed to just the money and the bragging rights. So,
all right,
I'm excited.
I am as well. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow whatever platform you're on. That's gonna be it for the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to show Sun some love.